I hear about guys who like actually have careers. They've made it partially in the industry. They have something going on, and they want to get put on a hood that they're not from.
Yep.
And they don't. They're so stupid that they don't understand that you are the #1 target to get extorted, to go out and do some stupid shit. Like everything about that is mind blowing.
And
to me.
motherfuckers is trying to, and people who are in that position want to be in your position.
Oh yeah.
They don't want to. The motherfuckers want to get out the hood. You think if they had a choice to say you got to sit here and live in the fucking 60s on Crenshaw and Slauson in the middle or in the jungle, or live in this fucking nice suburban area, they choose the fucking ghetto where they, you think that's what they want? No, they don't have a fucking choice. And you want to be like somebody. When they trying to get to where you at, you want to move backwards. I never fucking understood that. Yeah. I never understood how you could grow up in a nice household, grow up with sometimes two parents, or even if it's one parent, a strong parent, a strong mom, is sometime equivalent to both parents, and you choose to go backwards and go, nah, fuck that. I want to act like I grew up unprivileged and fucked up, eating fucking pork and beans and shit for dinner like me. Like, and I never understood it. And that's why, another reason why I wrote this book, because this shit details a lot of that.
I'm very excited to read that, honestly.
Yeah, man, I can't wait.
Because you know what it is? A lot of people just desperately want a hero's journey within their own life. And the truth is that if you grow up in a nice area and you don't, you know, a lot of times, like, I'll be watching documentaries about people and stuff, and it's almost like they don't make, you're not worthy of a documentary unless you were, like, addicted to drugs or, like, an alcoholic or had some crazy addiction that you had to beat. And in a lot of ways, I think that's what people do, is that they grow up in an environment where there's nothing really, like, around them that is threatening their existence. It's not like a kid who grows up in the hood where they're scared walking to school, they join a gang, they carry a gun because they're terrified. It's because they don't feel like they've really lived a life unless they go through this perilous journey that they can somehow survive.
It doesn't even make sense. It's almost like the Tekashi kid, bro.
Yeah.
It's almost like, bro, you didn't have to go and affiliate yourself with these street guys. These guys are really street guys. Like Nuke and these guys are gangsters, real gangsters. You already had your little thing going. You know what I'm saying? You had something going on, but you felt like, okay, this is gonna validate me.
Yeah.
But you didn't look at, like you said, there's a flip side to that coin. Because when the shit went down, you wanted to disassociate yourself as quick as possible. Yeah, I'm not part of the gang. No, I didn't.
He used to even say, he said, like, you know, I had a wave going in terms of like the SoundCloud rap type fans, the weirdo rap fans.
He used to get millions of views before all of that shit.
Right. But the crazy thing is that he's right. Like, he would not have been accepted by the streets in the same way if he didn't get to be in a video with 20 dudes with red rags. Yeah. But the reality is like, you could have stayed a version of you that was much, much closer to your real self.
Exactly.
And then had a sustainable career.
Facts.
Probably a smaller, more moderate career. But I mean, take somebody like Tech-9. If Tech-9 early in his career had decided that he wanted to represent himself as this crazy super gangster, he would have probably appealed musically to a much larger audience, but he also would have been bullshitting. Not to say that Tech-9 is not really with the shits, because I mean, I believe he's a stand-up guy in many regards, but you know, he could have put himself out there. It wasn't just like putting yourself out as a gangster, it was putting yourself out there as a caricature of a gangster.
At 100%.
Cartoon gangster.
100%. And this guy, he ran with it, and he had people in his ear telling him, yo, shorty, fall back, bro.
Those same gangsters were basically telling him that this might not have been the best idea.
Yeah, and now look, all of these guys lost so much. At that stage of your life, if you're in your 30s, you get sentenced to 15, 12, 13 years. That's a hit, bro. That's a fucking hit. Like, you got to start brand new. With the way the world is going right now, who the fuck's gonna know what the state of the world is gonna be in a decade? With the shit we going through now. Look, we're in a fucking pandemic. Donald Trump is the president. Fucking, they talking about a third wave coming of who the fuck knows what's gonna be in 10 years, bro. And you gotta sit in this fucking cage because you decided to be around this little fucking kid who's not who had a decent life, who has a mom who loves him, who, you know, lives on a nice part of Brooklyn and Bushwick, where, you know what I'm saying? If where he's from, you gotta go looking for trouble. You know what I'm saying? All Brooklyn ain't bad. There's certain little pockets and shit, but there's nice areas in Brooklyn too. Just like everywhere else.
No, the area in Bushwick that he's from is not it's not an area where you're constantly presented with danger these days.
Not in this day and age.
Because I
Probably in
lived
the
there
80s.
about 2006, and I saw it changing
seen
so
it
much during
yeah.
that time period. But I'm sure 10 years
You
before
go there
that, it
now,
was a
they have
different world.
outside cafes where motherfuckers is eating on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Nobody's worried about there's a police on every day. It's super safe.
Yeah, shit is so crazy that even like Ridgewood has been gentrified to the point
Super
that
safe.
doesn't feel like a ethnic
Yeah,
normal neighborhood. It used to be like, I don't know if
You
it was
gotta
Greek
go to
people or what
Brownsville.
around
You gotta
there.
go to Brownsville, East New York, to feel like you're in Brooklyn.
Definitely.
the old Brooklyn nowadays. Even Crown Heights is nice. Now.
Right.
Crown Heights and they call it
Bed-Stuy, it's been done for a while, which is hard to
Stuyvesant
imagine,
Heights.
you know?
Stuyvesant Heights now. You know what I'm
New
saying?
names,
Shit
yeah.
is nice. Like,
That's crazy.
yeah, it's different.
So okay, when you think about your relationship with like New York City as a street rapper from New York City, like how do you feel about that culture? I mean, it just must seem very different. And you're someone who
You know what
figured out
happened?
that
And
shit was not quite what it seemed real early on.
I don't want to feel like I be picking on Ebro, because everybody be like, "Yo, you picking on Ebro?" Like, I don't give a fuck about the guy that much to pick on him, but it's just reality. When Ebro became the program director at Hot 97, that's when New York fucked up. That's when, because we had a thing going where no matter where you were from, if you was fucking with hip hop, you paid homage to New York and said, okay, even if we don't sound like New York's the Mecca. New York is, they loved they loved the way our sound. They loved Rakim. They loved Big Daddy Kane. They loved all of these artists. And then when it when he came from the Bay or wherever he came from and became the program director, he became just watching the charts. So he's looking at other regions where other guys is popping, and they go, fuck that. Fuck these New York guys. Put these niggas on the radio at 13 o'clock, nigga, when everybody sleep. You know what I'm saying? So me, Pat, Uncle Murda, a lot of us, Graf, we caught bad dick. That was the era when Ebro came around. And so then all you heard on the radio was DJ Unk, walk it out, walk it out. You heard fucking the Franchise Boys.
Right.
And then you go anywhere else. Like, I'm driving through LA right now. All I hear is Roddy Ricch. Because he's from Compton. You hear LA. It sounds like LA when you out here. You go to Atlanta. It sounds like Atlanta. You go anywhere else in that region. You go to the Bay Area. You're gonna hear the Bay Area. You're gonna hear other shit like top 40 shit, but their shit is gonna be just as prominent. When he became, I guess he was just caring about his job and watching the charts. He said, "Fuck the New York sound. Fuck that sound. Fuck that boom bap shit. We're whatever's topping the charts, that's what we're playing, and that's what rhythmic radio is about." And then that killed us.
Right.
And then we lost our edge. Then New York artists start to feel like, I gotta sound like this to get on the radio. Then you had New York motherfuckers, like, no disrespect to Mims in that era, they started trying to sound, this is why I'm hot, this is why, started simplifying the shit, and then it became like, we gotta sound like this to get on the radio. And then we just got, that's why I love what Griselda, look what Griselda's doing. Griselda came back and brought the essence back of boom bap. They shit is 86 beats per minute. They rap over slow shit and lyricism, and they emphasize that, and they winning.
And it's crazy because they've actually managed to get the giant corporations of hip hop on their side.
Because,
Shady and Rock Nation actually supporting them and
They
realizing
should.
that long-term
And they
brand
deserve
building.
it. They deserve it. I love it. I love
you
seeing
and,
that shit.
and a lot of other people from your era really like deserved that same understanding and treatment, and it wasn't the stars.
Because
didn't align.
now what changed is the internet. You don't need the radio like you did when we was coming up. We depended. We had to go kiss ass for a spin.
Yeah.
Yo, can I get a spin? Now the internet will take your shit. People can go. Nobody has to wait for your shit to come on the radio no more.
Right.
If they want to find you, they can go Google your name and you know what I'm saying, and go listen to your whole catalog.
And I've heard Ebro kind of like try to defend why you only put songs on the radio that will be continue to keep X amount of people
That's
listening
not
and
hip
stuff.
hop, bro. Then you might as well go to pop. That's pop shit.
Right.
Hip hop is rebellious.
Because we see what happens when everything is based on what's the most popular. Like if Facebook only allows the stories that are the most engaging for the viewers to rise to the top, we've seen what happens. Then a bunch of conspiracy theory shit and a bunch of racist like pseudo propaganda ends up becoming the top ranked stuff.
That's
because bullshit will always be more appealing to people than things that are a little bit more measured and rational. And that view of the world is kind of short sighted, because in reality is like if you have a song that you believe is hot and deserves to be played played X amount of times on the radio to at least try to get the audience to appreciate it. I mean, isn't that your duty as a person whose job it is to spread music to the community?
That's what a DJ's supposed to. That's what a DJ's supposed to do, and that's what a program. You're a program director, so you're the one formatting the program on what gets played and what don't get played.
Right.
But a lot of these guys need job security, so they go, my job's on the line, and I gotta play what the higher ups want me to play, because we got to sell advertising, and it's a business. So when you look at it from a business standpoint, you look at it from a hip hop standpoint, the people that win is the people that go against the grain, the Master P's of the game, the fucking babies, the people who say, fuck it, we're going to do it our way. Those are the guys who win big. You know what I'm saying? Even guys like Dame Dash, I know you and Dame got your thing or whatever.
Shout out
but shout out to Dame, bro. But Dame was one of those innovative guys who, when everybody's saying Jay-Z's trash, he'll never get a deal, he's whack, he said, fuck that. Nah, we gonna keep pushing. We're gonna do it ourselves. And they cut through. And now Jay-Z's the biggest artist ever in the world. Look how many people would have missed out on Jay-Z because he didn't sound like who was hot at the time. He didn't sound like Nas, or he didn't sound like this guy or that guy. They was like, fuck it, and then they went and did it themselves, and it worked.
But one thing with Jay that I would say is different than you in the overall career trajectory is that Jay was willing to make a lot more compromises, in a sense. Like, he's acknowledged in his raps that he could have been a much more lyrical, much more conscious version of what he ultimately chose to give the public, and that he, I read one of his books, or a book about him at one point, that really broke down a lot of his bars and said, like, he's saying so much while saying so little in a way, and a lot of people from throughout rap history have kind of like given the people too much and not been willing to sort of dumb down a little bit.
You have to.